So you have seen the earlier videos on the terms on constructing this model 2-chlorobutane and how you can identify the chiral center and how you can then assign the absolute configuration to this model. And with that knowledge in hand, you should be able to assign the absolute configuration to other molecules that I have put up in the quiz. Take a look and test yourself. So in this video, I just want to highlight why chirality is so important in sciences and in pharmacy. So if you see, chirality is everywhere in biology and biological systems, in proteins, in carbohydrates, in DNA, and in other organic molecules, especially as signaling molecules, for example, neurotransmitters. All right. Also, if you look at enzymes, they are made of proteins and they are chiral. And these properties, these chirality in enzymes, enable them to distinguish between the substrates. And if you see substrates, sometimes substrates are stereoisomers. And these chirality in enzymes, in the protein, enable enzymes to catalyze certain substrates. They are quite selective actually, but not other substrates. Yeah. So the chirality in enzymes, for example, confers selectivities to some degrees. So while if you study things in test tube, this chirality may be not as important, but in our biological systems, in our body, all right, it is these things, these small arrangements in space makes a big difference to the biological systems. Yeah. So this presents a great challenge to a lot of the pharma companies out there. And often they are faced with the need to produce drugs. There are specific stereoisomers because these drugs are going to be used in our body. Our body is an example of a biological system. For instance, certain chiral drugs can exhibit better therapeutic action. Okay, they are more effective as one enantiomer, but less so or inactive in others. For example, is ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs they call it, and it works really well. It's really good, against inflammation, and it actually acts as a painkiller. Recent research have shown that the S isomer of ibuprofen is the active drug, whereas the R isomer of ibuprofen is inactive. So much of the effort of the pharma companies that produces ibuprofen, much of the effort actually focuses on separating the R from the S. And what they want is the S isomer, the S ibuprofen. So now the enantiomeric pure S ibuprofen is being sold in many pharmacies because of its activity. Is the one that's active, not the R isomer. So that is one example of an enantiomer drug. There are a lot more, and some are sold as a racemate mixture. Racemate means it's a mixture of R and S of the drugs. Pharma companies are having a lot of challenges trying to separate the R and the S. So they are sold as a mixture of R and S instead. And sometimes the S has better potency than the R, so that's okay. Sometimes the S has, for example, the S has toxicity, whereas the R has no toxicity. It is actually more active than the S. So that is the cause of concern to a lot of pharma companies. So that's why there are a lot of effort also going into into separating the RNS for some of the drugs, not all. In this video, I hope you understand the importance of this topic, chirality, why we should understand the concept of chirality in organic chemistry, and you can see its application in biological systems, especially enzyme, for example, and also in pharma industry, especially drugs. Yeah, the knowledge of compounds, chirality is important in that sense because there are two different entities, enantiomer A and enantiomer B, and they have different properties towards the biological system. If you have any comments or any thoughts or any questions that you'd like to ask us, please let us know in the comment section below. And also, if you'd like to contact us to ask further questions, please email me at aishasaad@uitm.edu.my. So that's all for now in this module, and all the best in your future endeavor.